Raelin the Kyrie warrior. Now I'm gonna read through her lore. It's fun. Then we'll go through a stat card. But first, we'll talk about the lore of Raelin. The fourth viewing of Raelin here. Raelin,
and this it's a story thing. That's why we're doing it. Story thing.
Yeah, we're going through the story. So, and then we get to figure out now, like, what's been going on. You know, a little bit. We get to reach into that. So, okay, Raelin, the Kyrie warrior, and Raelin the Unshackled, Raelin the Free, Raelin the Reckoning. These names are whispered among the armies of Jandar and Utgar alike as Raelin takes flight alongside Leviatak and makes for Utgar's throne. And as she does, she remembers the years this path has taken. She remembers the day that raging bands of strange blue-skin warriors invaded Nostralund, and the blood of her father on Taylord's blade. The message that her mother, Girda, had died defending her forge in Salios?
Kalikos.
Kalikos,
I pronounce Kalikos, yeah.
Kalios, okay.
It's not like it's my personal.
Kalios, okay. The day that the Arch-Kyrie Jandar pulled her from the ruins of her village, and she swore she would have her vengeance. She remembers sparring with Jandar as a Valkyrie rose in the years that followed, until the day that he bestowed the Spear of Girda on her and pronounced her training complete. Your training is complete. Okay. Meeting Drake, Sonlin, Major Q10, and Shiori in the war. I like that reference of the original band.
Thank you.
And
this is things we're doing.
Yep.
We're doing this on purpose.
And learning that those from the worlds beyond Valhalla had the capacity for great courage as much as for ruin and destruction, saving each other's lives from Utgar's tyrannical schemes, one mission after another. And she remembers the day that Kimoshi, there's our reference, people, tried a second time to bestow a cursed amulet upon her. She found her will now resistant to the Mara Witch's charms. But she chose to give no sign to Utgar's forces that the shackling of her mind had become unsuccessful. The disguise offered an opportunity to work her way through Utgar's ranks, until there could be no doubt of her loyalty, until she could get close to him, even if it meant leaving behind her closest friends. She did not expect to find Leviatak, daughter of Taylord, during those dark days in Utgar's camps. Her father had aided Utgar in laying waste to Valhalla. But Leviatak speaks of building a stronger future for the clans of the Kyrian Mountains. Raelin's bond with her has become strong over a year of flying into battle side by side, and their goals align for one final mission: to bring vengeance to Utgar's door, and to bring him to justice for all that he has taken from Raelin and from Valhalla.
There it is.
Whew. Okay.
Yes, dude, it's so good. And I know everyone's like, oh, you turned her good so early. No, first of all, I do want to point out something, right? You're getting this information pretty early. First of all.
Yeah, it's not technically not happened yet, right?
That's because the character's not out yet.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to think about it. Like obviously, there's the whole chronological effect. There's all that kind of stuff, right? All of the stuff are snapshots and previews of things that are happening, things that are on the way, all that kind of stuff, right? And so when Lee went live, she said specifically at the reveal, Boiling Tension, the story arc of Boiling Tension, 2 parts. Do you remember what those 2 parts were?
No, I watched that thing twice, and I still don't remember. I still don't know what people said.
It's my job. Yeah. That's not. I'm just saying there are 2 parts to Boiling Tension's story arc that people need to pay attention to. And remember, this consists of the entire thing, right? So this is all the upcoming scenarios, this is all the this living story, all that kind of stuff, right? 2 things: Volarok's arrival, right? Raelin's vengeance.
Okay.
Those are the themes of boiling tension. That's what's happening. And this is an incredible opportunity, once again, to reveal that all of this backstory information for Raelin also came from the Lost Webisode script.
There you go.
Because we didn't get this in the main canon. But it did exist at one point. It existed, and it was not present, but it was there. It was worked on. There was already backstory about this character that was just floating around, and we found it on this this webisode script. We talked to the guy who wrote it. He said what he said. He's like, yeah, Craig Van Ness saw this, so we're like, all right, boom, now it's canon. And we were able to get Raylan's backstory official.
Mm-hmm.
So, in her backstory, she lost her family to Ugar's raids.
Right.
Now you have what? Intention, motivation. Now you know why Raelin is fighting. All this time, she wants vengeance for her dead village. Her whole entire city was razed to the ground. Right? You gotta go get that webisode script. By the way, it's a great companion piece to all of these bios to kind of help understand the theme. But she lost everything to Utgar. Whole family, whole life. Jandar rescued her from trouble. To Jandar, Raelin was a symbol of hope because she was the only survivor from that entire raid that he found in the wreckage. And he raised her to be a warrior. But she has so much pain from her childhood that is now for the first time getting a chance to get resolved in this story arc. Hence the name, Boiling Tension. So, like, this is all playing out. And again, all the stuff coming out in the next couple months, all the way up to August, right? Because August is when this drops, right? It's all in that bubble, giant containment unit. I don't know how to describe it, right? I'm a big metaphor sort of person. You have to consider each story arc from start to finish in one big old spool. And then once the last piece of that story arc stuff is finished, when the stuff drops retail, then the next story arc will introduce a whole other bubble of stuff. And then just that's how the story will tell, because it's a living tale. Right.
Yeah, we're kind of like in the middle of it all. It's like we see her intentions. We see a little bit of backstory. We see what she's planning to do. Now we need to see what
this
outcome.
Been going on for 10 years.
Yeah, outcome and redemption. Whatever redemption needs to happen.
Finally gets vengeance after 10 years of war. Yeah, this is going to be big for her.
And with vengeance, like, at what cost though? Because I mean, she totally had to go against everybody she cares about.
There you go. And thinking about that is good, because that's how you engage with the narrative. You start thinking of how those themes play out in the story. Because yes, it's going to cause some trust issues, but she did what she had to do. Why? Because she lost everything.
Yep.
But that was lore we didn't get until 2011. We didn't know that until we got that script. So we wanted to use that as part of the big concept.
A lot of work, guys, the last 6 months got put into this.
We worked really hard. Yes, we worked really hard. So,
Heroscape.
Rogue, I have NDAs, man.
Yeah, don't have. Yeah, I'm ignoring those types of questions.
What kind of question is that, homie? Bro, let me just ruin every plan. No, I'm not. I cannot answer any question. No way.
But no, I'll just say, like, okay, and I know people are kind of razzing on the mini. I think it's fine.
It's supposed to be based on the statue, which again, I just want to point out, when have we ever had a life-size statue for Heroscape ever? Please tell me when, because I don't remember. I don't remember.
And that was a big hint last Gen Con last year too.
And that was a hint. Yeah. No, that's so cool. So you might not like the design on the card. That's fair. But this particular mini is iconic because it's literally the miniature version of the 6-foot statue. It's the exact same shape. You get to again, fun trivia. You get to tell all your gamer home. This used to be 6 feet tall at one point. And they shrinked it.
Minimized
That's so cool. Yeah, come on. It's I get it. We have passion for this game. We love this game. We want to see certain things happen with this game. But there are also certain decisions that have really, really beautiful credit to why they were made. Beautiful credit as to why they were made.
I think the spear is awesome too.
Hours of effort.
The intricate design of the spear is really nice. Because before, like, the spear, I think it's the same spear like in the previous versions, Rise of the Valkyrie and Sword of the Morrow.
That's the context too.
A lot better design.
We named her spear, like the name the spear, right?
It's named after her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all part of that story. She's ready to finally claim her vengeance after 10 years of war.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we had to give her a chance.
For sure. Even if you got to ally yourself with probably your greatest enemy.
There you go. See, and the thing is, and people might disagree how that arc plays out, but if I may, this is just my personal take from it from a narrative standpoint. I encourage you, if you have the time, obviously this is breaking the bubble. I'm breaking the fourth wall mainly, right? And if you're familiar with the Destiny 2 series at all, I highly encourage you to look up Eris Morn. She's a great parallel. Eris Morn did a lot of very bad things for good people. Because she was like, I will be the knife in the dark. That's what she calls herself. And it's a really cool character trope that I was like, got really invested into. And so when they were proposing all this, I was like, yo, Eris Morn, but Raelin? Let's go. That's what I was thinking. That was my personal take. So if you know that reference, then it works really. Trust me. Like, I was like, oh man, this is basically Eris Morn. And and she is such a cool character. So I'm ready to see how this vengeance arc play out. I want to see it play out. It's gonna be super.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just read through the card too. And this is the card that I've audio. I know this is his first look, but I looked through some of this stuff. But let's just go in depth. Okay, Jandar. So Jandar is back to being the Valkyrie general. She's under Raelin the Valkyrie.
She was never evil. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's the thing. Kyrie, unique hero, warrior, vengeful, medium 5, life of 6, move of 6, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 3, 105 points. Unyielding, other players cannot gain control of, move, or take turns.
That power, and I just want to take a time to kind of observe that particular power. I know competitively may not even. You're like, what the heck? Why would you even waste the card space for something that trivial?
It's not
part of the story.
Well, but it's not. No other. I mean,
and you
not
can
many.
Use her.
Is there any other character that can do that? Yeah. Is there any character that can do that? I don't think so.
So not. It does help in a mechanic way, but for those that complain it's not mechanically viable, it has a story with it.
Why not?
Because she is now unyielding. You will never be able to take her again.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, and
it's just part of
that guarantees her miniature cannot be taken over either by any other influence from other cards that we could have or could have in the future. She's invulnerable to that type of control. So that
Raelin went to the darkest dark to get to the highest goal, which is winning. You know, this is what it is.
And you have
she's committed.
You have Whirlwind Assault. Raelin may attack any number of times during her turn, which is great for like an offensive move like that. She cannot attack any figure more than once per turn. And then Vengeful Swoop 8. And let me just read through this real quick. Once per turn, another figure you control within 4 clear sight spaces of Raelin defends against a normal attack from an enemy figure. If they receive 1 or more wounds, you may place Raelin on an unoccupied space adjacent to the attacking figure and roll the 20-sided die. If you roll an 8 or higher, that figure receives 1 wound. Auto, basically. I mean, but greater than 50% chance of getting it too.
I want to provide a very cool aesthetic that when I read that power, because again, I got to review this kind of. When I read that power, do you know what I thought about? If y'all bear me another opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of you play God of War? Do you ever remember fighting the Valkyries in God of War?
No.
Do you know how hard they hit you? Right? They do this thing where they jump into the sky, right? And they're untargetable for a little bit, and they just drop down hard onto the Kratos.
I remember you playing that.
In that and I think you watched me.
A little bit. Yep.
You saw how hard that was?
Yeah.
That had me sweating. That was fun though. I was like, that's what I visually saw Raelin doing in this. Like when I read that power, that's what I see. She's just boom, and I'm like, oh, man.
Offensively, it's a solid
so cool
unit.
Visually, yeah.
It's well, I mean, for offense,
and it tells that story, yeah.
Yeah, it's as an offensive unit, I think it's really, really solid. And a matter of fact, and I'm still going to maintain that I still think it's undervalued. I think 105 points is very minimal. I think it's going to go up. When it comes to delta pricing. And it's going to be interesting what army she can match with.
Right. And that's things that build over time as well, especially if it doesn't, everyone's like, oh, it doesn't work out now. Well, if I may offer an example, Nirak came out before Snow. Like, the game has always had some preview to future stuff that is on the way.
Right.
So if you're army building right now and you notice discrepancies, what do you think that means?
It means there's other stuff to come.
It's that's how the game is always been. There's always doors for future stuff. There's always doors. It's always been like always, man.
Like I said,
always been the battle.
I really have no huge issue with it. I think, I mean, this can be argued, but I think it's compared to the Raelin we got. I think this one might be better offensively. I'm just saying it definitely helps squads too. Like if you're having Raelin with squads, I mean it's offense rather than defense. But this still is one that it's probably going to be a fun squad helper. Depending. It also depends on his synergies too. Because I know, but that's one thing with Vengeful Swoop. An order marker doesn't have to be honor, and she can
she could use that gets attacked within her range, yeah.
And then
within that range,
so it's an auto move, getting in that space. And then if you're on your next,
think twice about coming after the people you have nearby. That's a cool idea.
And if
my head,
and if you're on if you get to your next turn, like if you rearrange order markers, or if she moves, and then you can rearrange order markers on the next turn for her to attack and do whirlwind assault, and boom, there you go. An absolute menace to range pods. Yeah, it probably would be.
Let's be honest, man. That 10th reg domination needs to break just a smidge.
Yeah. I think this is one that will definitely. I mean, it's definitely have to play it, and see where it works.
You got to break that 10th reg just a little.
I think it's going to work pretty darn nice, and no one can sneak in a Negok Saw and try and mind check it either. So there you go.
Yep.
There you go. So yeah, it's I'd say overall, Raelin the Kyrie Warrior, the fourth version.
And again, I'm gonna point it out. She doesn't. So like y'all aren't even gonna see her literally physically in hand until
later in the year.
When Worlds is. So again, these are all snapshots. These are previews of what's on the way. So if it doesn't make sense now, it's supposed to make sense when those events happen. Look at the timeline. It's all connected. On one big. It's a bubble, man. Like start to finish. It's all gonna be a big old thing.
Absolutely.
So,
but
we just ask you for a little patience.
But a little patience.
I'm very passionate about this thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to derail.
And I'm just telling you, I mean, overall, Raelin Kyrie Warrior fourth version is looking good.